Or is this
No.
pre-recorded?
This is a private live stream, and now we're
Okay.
underway. Now we're going now. It's a private live stream. I mean, it's just a fake platform. So I used to think that like, oh, you can be a YouTuber and all that. It's not how it works. You have to be a sellout. You have to be related to somebody who's semi-famous. It's all in the family. This is the new YouTube TV. We're just doing this because it's something different and I can have a guest on here. I'm not going to
Well, I
be like,
appreciate you having me on
yeah,
here.
that's cool. I appreciate you too, Janae. So yeah, so this is the breakdown. I'm sure if anybody's watching this now, they're going to see the title and the thumbnail. But back when I first started doing this, it was like okay, and I still have it all here. I got music, intro videos. It's like, dude, this isn't real. Like, you can't just do this and be the you can be the best at it or whatever, but they just put a number next to the video. There's not that many. You see what I'm saying? If there is like
Well,
thousands of views, it's because it's just popping up on people's feed where obviously they're going to click
yeah.
on it,
And
right?
as soon as the static IP address views it, you get a view. But I really appreciate you doing these criminal cases with me because it is very eye-opening to me. Like I really want to do something with forensic psychology in my future. And, I think it's really fascinating your ability to break these down and then us coming together and being able to share this with other people, how the world is just but a stage.
Well, I appreciate you. So we have this story, and it's like a complicated story, but we're not going to make it any more complicated than it is. It won't upload my file, so I have to go back and forth here to Google Slides. So this is already an old case from 1995. I put it's
Well,
not so trendy right there
yeah,
because
and the
it was
murders happened in 1993 too. So,
it 93? Yeah, it was 93. Okay. That was a different time. I remember watching basketball, thinking basketball was real back then as well. That was the year the Suns played the Bulls. But anyways, that's interesting because the Bulls and the Horns, and that connects here as well. So that's amazing because all of this stuff is connected and people will see as we go forward. So new DNA testing in West Memphis 3 case may exonerate convicted. And can they find a real killer? And this is all just a story anyways, but we're going to play a video that's going to be a little bit glitchy probably. I mean, I just hope you can like semi hear it. We're not it's like 7 or 8 minutes. We're not going to play all of it. We're just going to play a minute or two to kind of figure out what's going on here. Then my next few slides will kind of explain more of what's going on. This is just to kind of get some audio. And again, the visuals won't be great. So I'm just going to play that now. So you should be seeing this.
yes.
Well, good evening to you. We're going to begin tonight with an in-depth investigation of one of Arkansas's most notorious crimes and the new technology that could help solve it once and for all. Channel 7's Andrew Mobley went searching for answers in the child murders at Robin Hood Hills. Who killed 3 8-year-old West Memphis boys more than 30 years ago?
From Arkansas's most watched news team, this is Channel 7 News at 6.
Good evening. An East Arkansas town is stunned tonight after the apparent murder of 3 young boys. I'm Andy Pearson.
I'm Gina Curry. Folks in West Memphis have their guards up tonight. Some of them not even letting their kids out of their...
I hope this isn't like copyright too, because then it'll all just have to be edited out. But again, I hope we can hear this and we'll go maybe like another minute or so and then I'll verbally explain a little bit what's going on here. And then maybe we'll come back and finish.
their sight.
On May 5th, 1993, the naked, hog-tied bodies of 8-year-olds Stevie Branch, Christopher Byers, and Michael Moore were found submerged in a drainage ditch in a patch of woods in West Memphis. Police suggested they had been raped and one boy castrated. They said one had been beaten to death, the others drowned. The shocking crime led many to believe it may have been the work of a satanic cult.
The satanic panic that gripped the community was palpable.
West Memphis police needed to find a culprit fast, but critics say they made critical mistakes in their investigation, mishandling or...
Damn, that's amazing, Janae, because remember you said the Black Rock, Little Rock point? Remember 121? Look at the time right there.
And
See that 1021?
It's a Black Rock to West Memphis, Arkansas, 121.
So that's how that can open your eyes a little bit more to how scripted this stuff is, because you see the time right there. It's not a coincidence. And this happens on Google too. When you search stuff up and you know how it says, 1,000,021 Google results. All of these numbers, they all factor in. You know what I'm saying? And it's all fake like that. Even if you see YouTube views, there could be something trending with the death or something, and you got a death date, and then it's within the view count or whatever on you're watching the YouTube video, and it's like, what the hell? 1,021,000 views. The guy died on 121. It's this stuff. This is how it is. So you see that right there, 1021, and blood sacrifice equals 120.
121 too, yeah.
So it's like it's fake like that, you know. And I hate to go, and that stuff I never stretch to try to find. But anyways, let's do this again.
In a patch of woods in West Memphis. Police suggested they had been raped and one boy castrated. They said one had been beaten to death, the others drowned. The shocking crime led many to believe it may have been the work of a satanic cult.
The satanic panic that gripped the community was palpable.
West Memphis police needed to find a culprit fast, but critics say they made critical mistakes in their investigation, mishandling or failing to collect evidence and failing to pursue leads.
Detective Rich, what is the date that you sent the blood scrapings off to the crime lab to be analyzed?
They were never sent.
They were never sent?
That's correct.
Where are the blood samples at this time?
I don't know, sir. They're lost.
They soon arrested 3 teenagers, Jesse Miskelly, Damian Eccles, and Jason Baldwin, for murder. With little to go on but Miskelly's doubtful confession, they accused the boys of belonging to a satanic cult. Dan Stidham, then a young part-time public defender with no jury trial experience, was asked to represent Miskelly. Stidham quickly became convinced of his innocence. Stidham, like many others, believes West Memphis police coerced a false confession out of Miskelly, who was later said in court proceedings to have the IQ of a 7-year-old child. Police interviewed Miss Kelly for hours, but recorded less than an hour. The confession they got out of Miss Kelly had glaring inaccuracies.
There was a lot of shenanigans that were going on, prosecutorial misconduct. There was one point where the lead prosecutor was meeting with my client.
So this is
Damian Eccles.
Go ahead.
The 121 connection, it's really interesting because Damian Eccles' birthday is 12/1/11.
Yeah.
So
you get
there's
all
that.
those numbers.
Yeah, there's that connection too.
You
with
get
the
all those
121.
numbers. Yeah. So this is like at the 2-minute 30 mark of this clip. We're probably just gonna skip the rest of that for now and maybe come back to it. So again, I'm just gonna open this up now because it wouldn't let me share the slides to StreamYard. So I'm just gonna.
The one thing that I find really interesting is the May 5th, which is 5/5 connection throughout this case.
Right. Definitely. Let me see if I can go right. Okay, so they say this, they may get exonerated, and that means absolving them from blame for a fault or wrongdoing, especially after due consideration of the case. Now, I would be like, dude, you better give me like hundreds of millions of dollars. You know, that would, I don't even know if that would make it right because they've already given up their time. But I'm just gonna go ahead and read a little bit of this now, and I'm gonna read it anyways. It's like a complicated case, but you never know. The volume of what we just played may not have be playing. So I'll
Yeah.
just go ahead and read this anyways. So the judge sentenced the three to 18 years and 78 days, the amount of time they had served, and levied a suspended sentence of 10 years. Eccles' sentence was reduced, and I didn't go through and figure out which one was which. Like, to me, it's like semi-irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? I'm a decoder. I didn't take all of their names and put all of their names in. I didn't do all of that. I'm just looking them as a three, as a trio, okay?
Yeah.
If you know which one's which, you know, you can chime in and point it out or whatever, but I don't.
Well, the first one in the picture is on the left is Damien, the middle one is Jason, and then the last one is Jesse, and then it's Damien, Jesse, and then
That's amazing.
Jason.
That's amazing. Okay. So Eccles' sentence was reduced to 3 counts. So I mean, I can't hide it, and I'm gonna show more when I get to the breakdown here. But
And
we
it's
can't hide the threes, obviously.
It's also really interesting that the judge sentenced them to 18 years because Damien Eccles equals 108 in ordinal cipher.
And that's amazing. And also, like, ritual equals 81.
Right.
Which is great. And we can't hide the threes that we're seeing here, but we'll get into those threes here in a bit. Lawyers representing. Okay, so Eccles, which one is that again?
Damien Eccles is the one all the way on the left.
Okay, so
and the
that's
colored picture and the black and white picture as well.
Oh yeah, he does got longer hair in both. Okay, so lawyers representing the West Memphis Three reached the plea deal that allowed the men to be released from prison. All 3 men were released from prison in 2011 after entering Alford pleas and for killing these young boys, okay? Receiving a time served sentence plus 10 years suspended sentences. Eccles has continued to maintain his innocence and sought exoneration. See the boys here. I don't know why every time I do this, I put the jacket on. Excuse me for a second. I put the jacket on and then because it's cold and then it gets all hot like within a minute. I think I'm gonna have
another thing with that 11 connection with them being released in 2011. You know, we have cult that equals 11. We have HBO that equals 11. Witchcraft.
I think Jesus or Jesus. I think Jesus equals or Jesus Christ equals.
Also, animal sacrifices. Animal sacrifices equals 111.
Go ahead and explain. Go ahead and explain what they did to these kids, just briefly, real quick. I mean, I'm gonna read it in a second, but if you briefly can explain some of the crimes.
It was alleged that there was they were tortured.
And allegedly, as they might.
Allegedly tortured, allegedly mutilated. One of them was castrated. They were essayed, and it was done to. There's a lot of sexual nature to this crime. Damien is allegedly the ringleader. Jason was his best friend, and Jesse kind of was just in the mix, hanging out. They all lived in this little trailer park in West Memphis, Arkansas. And Damien was into allegedly black magic, demonology.
That's interesting because you got the Black Rock connection too.
Yeah.
And so,
And
yeah, black magic. This is close to Little Rock. The article actually says Little Rock. And little is interesting too because you got like the little
little
boy.
kids.
Yeah.
But SODOMIZE, what took place, the essay of those victims equals 110, which is 11. They also had that animal sacrifice, which
And
equals
that's
110.
and Jesus equals 11. So there's a satanic like Jesus thing going on here. And wait until you see the slides I have. I think you're
And
going
then
to be
also the documentary that was put out, the first one called Paradise Lost, was produced by HBO, which equals 11.
and we're seeing the 74 for killing equals 43 as well.
And that 74 number is really interesting because Damien Eccles was born in 1974.
Okay, and killing equals 74.
And also, if you look at the 74, there's a lot of numbers like Robin Hood Hills, where the crime took place, is equal to 74.
And there's probably a Robin Hood if you look at the damn character and what that story is about. Look, Robin Hood equals 55.
Yeah, there's
Hey.
that 55 connection.
And look, 44 like kill.
Also, Jason Baldwin, one of the perpetrators in this case, equals 74.
God damn.
And then if you look at it also, 47, which we have that connection, is connected to Bite Dance, which is they own shares in TikTok, which is what produces, all of these true crime cases on
Yeah, you're
social
right.
media.
You're right.
Celebrity advocacy, because, people like Johnny Depp, which is connected to the number 55. If you look at that in the ordinal, Johnny Depp equals 55. He advocated for these teenagers to get off of the crimes that they committed. But
anytime there's a celebrity chiming in, it's a big script, right?
and also Satanic Panic. And then also, if you want to look into things deeper, we have that 74 connection. I'll wait for that one. But,
yeah, those were some amazing points exactly when we needed them. But let me go forward here because some of these slides and these connections, and keep in mind this stuff.
Well, one more thing is demonology and West Memphis equals 147. So it's like 74 but backwards.
74 is in there. Cool. So look, these connections that popped up, they popped up like freaking like within 20 minutes. That's why I love doing this, is because it's a fake world we live in. And once I do this so much, it's just awesome to see. Like, it's not awesome, obviously, with these crimes. We don't know if this stuff really happened, but we know this stuff does happen out there in the world. So we do have to be like semi-sensitive to that as well. So these men are released. Now they may be exonerated. Meaning, I don't know if you could ever make that up or, take that away what they've been through, as maybe now they're trying to say they're going to find the real killers. And it's all a story. And we can't forget that song Murder by Numbers by The Police as well.
Yeah.
We can't forget that song. So let me read a little bit more here. So they're out of prison now. Okay. And again, this was on May 5th, 1993. This article, and it pops back up November of this, or December of this last year, as they may get exonerated. Again, they hogtied the bodies of these 3 8-year-olds, Stephen Branch, Christopher Byers, and Michael Moore. They were found submerged in a drainage ditch in a patch of woods in West Memphis. Police suggested they had been Ard, and one boy castrated. Police said one had been beaten to death and 2 drowned. The shocking crime led many to believe that it may have been the work of a satanic cult. And these are the names: Jesse Miskelly, Damian Eccles, and Jason Baldwin. They were charged with murder with little to go on, but Miss Kelly's confession, they accused the boys of belonging to a satanic cult. And there's a lot of shadiness here with how they were charged in the investigation. Let's see. West Memphis police needed to find a culprit fast, but critics say they made critical mistakes in their investigation, mishandling or failing to collect evidence and failing to pursue leads. So I'm going to try to buzz through a few of these slides real quick so we don't fall too far behind. They say one of these guys who confessed had the IQ of a 7-year-old child. It isn't, I think,
They say that Jesse Miss Kelly was, harassed for multiple hours on end, and
doesn't Miss Kelly kind of make you think of mistrial as well or something?
but it also makes me think of Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox with the baby that they just had that's trending right now as well.
Well, that's interesting. You get Kelly and then you get Miss, right?
Yeah.
This 7-year-old child, they say he had. So which one right here is Miss Kelly?
Miss Kelly is the one on the top. It would be the one all the way to the left.
Okay, and it's interesting because they say he had the brain of a 7-year-old, and I think 7 is the number most used in the Bible. So,
and also what's crazy is with that 5 connection that we were talking to, Jesse Miss Kelly, he confessed 5 times, but then he also recanted
right.
5 times.
And this
which is
crime
quite
was on,
common.
and this crime was on 5/5, and what it was Robin Hood Hills. Is that what it?
Yep,
where
Robin Hood Hills equals
And-
50. Well, Robin Hood equals
yeah.
55.
Okay, so perfect. So look, and it says they were supposed to have a retrial in 2007, but instead of going to trial and risking defeat, the state of Arkansas offered them a 3, and they're calling them the West Memphis 3. So they're giving it a title. They got logos. This is just how this is a story. And we brought up like the O.J. Simpson thing. Not saying it's like the same or but it's definitely relatable as they try to make a story out of it. There was probably a lot of divisiveness. But again, they got released in 2011. So I'm going to get into some of these connections and I'm going to try to buzz through a few of them real quick. Okay. And you see the names here, Chris of the children, Chris Byers, Michael Moore, Steve Branch. Okay. So look, so we get this 30-year thing. Okay. Janae, West Memphis 3, 30 years later. Let me see if it's going to let me. Look, I just did this trending story 30 years later with Selena's. And again, that was a story as well, where it's just it's like a story, right? 30 years
I can't believe
later.
people thought that Texas was going to give her parole.
I didn't even follow through with it. They didn't. Anyways, they were having the hearing on Sunday or whatever. But look, so we get that. And again, this is like semi-trending because it's from December. But it's interesting because there's a lot of trending stories right now where they're bringing up 1994, 1995. So again, that was around 30 years ago. So we get 30 years after music icon Selena's murder, Yolanda Saldivar up for parole. So we get those double 30s there. And again, before I bring it up, and I'm going to bring it up so we don't need to get into it, but I can't deny it. We're seeing all the 3s, okay? Let me get through a couple more of these real quick, okay?
Gotcha.
So notice, and again, 30 years later, 30 like 3. There's 3 boys killed. There's 3 suspects. There's the Memphis 3. And notice how it says satanic cult. And I'm trying to prove here that the stuff all starts with the language, and these letters have numerical values. So notice how it says satanic cult.
Well, and also you have 3 perpetrators, 3 victims, that equals 60. Arkansas equals 6, that equals 60. So there's that 6 and 60
Perfect.
connection.
Yep, perfect. And I have that coming up, and I have more to even add to it, which is perfect. But notice how it says satanic cult, and then they needed to find a culprit. You see that?
Yeah. And
It's the language, okay? West Memphis. And I think you're going to get blown away by these connections I have, Janae. So
I think we have a lot of the same ones, so I'm trying to keep up.
Right.
So I don't repeat them.
When we come together, it's awesome because we all see different things. We need to do one of these actually like live sometime, maybe after a couple more. Because I know
Yeah, I would love that.
Richard West he's always awake around this time. And it would be nice.
Why doesn't he get involved? That would be awesome to have.
Or he could at least be in the comments. I don't think we would ever get through it with a panel on here. But West Memphis needed to find a culprit, and satanic cult is what they're saying. Look at this. You know what's amazing about this, Janae?
3, yeah.
You know what's amazing about this? Because when you first gave me the lead on this article, I saw Memphis and I thought it was Memphis, Tennessee, but it was West Memphis, Arkansas. Look, you have 3-6 Mafia out of Memphis, Tennessee.
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, it's West Memphis, Tennessee.
Yes.
Okay. So this is where you see certain patterns and stuff come together. Okay. And it starts with the language. I'm telling you, it starts with the language. It's as simple as that. You got West Memphis, Arkansas. You have, if I'm not mistaken, because I used to listen to this album and I loved that album back in the day as I was brainwashed and manipulated. And this stuff is all magic. Notice how magic's got M as well. Mafia M, Memphis M, Mystic Styles M, 3-6 Mafia. And
the other thing about cult is it equals 52 and 25 too. So there's a Trump connection too.
And we're in the year 2025.
Yep.
And Trump's followers are cultish.
Exactly.
So look, this was obviously like a satanic group, but they say DJ Paul denies allegations 3-6 Mafia was satanic. So we get a Memphis connection here, even though West Memphis, Arkansas, Memphis, Tennessee, and let me verify it was West Memphis, Tennessee, because that would just be even more ridiculous. It was 3-6 Mafia from West Memphis, Tennessee. I think they were, and I think that's in my next slide. But you see right here, Memphis, Tennessee, and I think it's actually in the next slide here. Let's see. They're saying they just played an image and we're playing a role. And then that makes you think of just the story that we're covering, which is an image and a role, right? It says they never studied Satan or nothing like that, but they were definitely, you're affiliated with that energy if you're performing anything like this, right? And look,
and then
Kings of
we
Memphis.
have satanic, which equals 50, which is that 5 connection that we're talking about to this case. Also, satanic rituals equals 50 as well.
That's amazing. And you know what's awesome about that? And I have more to add to that coming up. You know what's awesome about that? Notice how this says Kings of Memphis Underground Volume 3. You get the 3 in there again. So we're getting a 3 theme here. And with this connection with this hip hop group and the Memphis connection, all by the language, even though, and you get the satanic connection, 666 Mafia, Right? There was something else I was gonna say there, but let me go forward because we're not done with this
Well,
connection
and it's
here.
funny that you say underground because if you look at vampires, that
Ooh.
also equals 50.
Okay.
So
Oh,
where do vampires sleep? Underground.
now I know what I was gonna say too, because an underground is like dead.
Yep.
But 50, you know why that's awesome? Because that's like 5, and that's like duality between like God and Satan. Like in the middle, the duality. 5 is like in the middle of 1 through 10, right?
Right.
Isn't that awesome? Okay, so I just threw in a couple of these pics here. I guess and notice the stuff's gonna be all blurry and all that, right? Look at this,
And
Janae. So these are all the 3s that keep popping up, right?
1993, yeah.
Right? 30 years ago, like 3. Arkansas witnessed one of the most horrific, and 3-6 Mafia is kind of considered like horrorcore or like horror rap. Okay, and it's all in the language, right? So the brutal
Mutilated
murder,
equals 33 too.
damn, murder of 3 8-year-old boys in West Memphis. Keep in mind, this is West Memphis, Arkansas. And we
Right.
have I'm pretty sure in those old albums, 3-6 Mafia with the Memphis, Tennessee connection, I'm pretty sure they said West Memphis in a lot of those lyrics. But look,
Yeah.
3 teenagers kill 3 young boys 30 years ago, like 3. And look, 1993, right? And I hate that I got to keep going back here to share the slides, but that's okay. Check it out. 3 8-year-old boys. Memphis equals 38 and 83.
Yeah, murder equals 38.
Murder equals 38 and
So
83.
does the SODMIZE.
Oh, it does. Let's go look at that real quick. And so does
And so
killing.
does vampires if you spell it with a Y, like pyre, like your funeral.
Is that a way of spelling it, or is that?
Yes, it's the traditional spelling
Oh, okay. Well,
because
that's
it's
the traditional. So we're not stretching it. How do you spell it?
Y. VAMPYERES.
So that would be like the traditional. Oh, and you get 43 like killing and 97
Yeah.
like, and look, you get 97 like death. And look, death
Yeah,
has,
and there was something that happened in 97 with the case too.
so you see these numbers, and all of these numbers keep popping up here. Okay. Look, so, and even all of these M's here, right? With this case, 3 teenagers famously dubbed the West Memphis 3. So Memphis M, murder M, morgue M, mishandling of the case, mishandling M, May M. Look at Michael Moore M,
Miss Kelly.
Miss Kelly M,
Mutilation.
mutilation M, and it's kind of like mistrial as well. Miss Kelly mistrial.
Yeah.
Right? So
You also have, the murder as well that connects
right.
to the M.
Right.
But if we want to go a little bit further, the M's, Johnny Depp was connected to this case, for advocacy, celebrity advocacy. And he has a company that's called Infinite Neil, which is interesting because that's owned by BlackRock, right?
And we got the little
BlackRock has a connection to blood. Damien was wanting to drink blood. And who owns stock in Johnny Depp's company? Massimo. And Massimo equals 25, but it also equals 38.
Okay.
And Massimo Corp equals 50. And Massimo Corp is also connected to BlackRock. So his company's name is INFINITUMNIHIL. And it's ran by his sister, Christy.
Here he is right here. It pops up right when I put Johnny Depp satanic. It pops up how he added his voice to campaign for these three men right here.
But this is all connected to BlackRock. And Massimo, what they want to do is, what is his
They got
name?
BlackRock coffee too.
Joe Canini owns Massimo Corporations.
Okay.
And BlackRock is considered to be one of the most wealthiest corporations.
Right.
By Larry Fink.
Prisons and stuff.
But
okay.
Joe Canini, Jason Baldwin, and Robin Hood Hills equals 74, which is the year that Damien Eccles was born in.
Look at this. Robin Hood Men in Tights released in 93. And this murder in Robin Hood Hills, 93, right?
But also, if you look at Robin, like robbing people of their blood.
Right. And Hood, like neighborhood or whatever.
Yes.
Look at that right
in
there.
In the trailer park hood, you know.
Look at that.
Larry Fink also has a connection, who is the owner of BlackRock, to West Memphis with the number 57.
Look at that right there, Janae. 1993, Robin Hood Men in Tights. Isn't that awesome? And look what else popped up. Look, there was one in 2018. 20 plus 18 is 38. And this was in, let me ask Google. Was it Robin Hood?
I think the 2018 had Russell Crowe in it, which connects to the Aleister Crowley connection of this case.
The language, right? We're going to play a little bit more of the video now, and then we'll come back to our connections, okay?
Yeah.
So let's go back. We left off around 3 minutes. We'll go back, and there's another video, but I'm probably not going to play all of it. And again, it's going to be like, hopefully we can hear the volume. It's going to be glitchy on the playback, and it might. Let me go up to right here, maybe. I might kick the volume down slightly because it's just blasting on my.
Legal maneuvering and new DNA testing would follow. In 2011, a retrial seemed imminent, but instead of going to trial and risking defeat, the state of Arkansas offered the West Memphis 3 a deal to let them go free. An Alford plea in which they pled guilty but maintained their innocence.
Everybody
like
thought
Alfred Hitchcock, maybe.
Get a new trial. Even the prosecutors admitted it. And then all of a sudden, this Alford plea comes out of nowhere.
The West Memphis 3 took the deal in 2011 and were set free. But to this day, the shadow of their convictions has hung heavy over their lives. Even some of the murdered boys' parents became convinced the West Memphis 3 were innocent.
They're innocent. They did not kill my son.
Wow, that's big. You get one of the
Well, and he was paid by HBO $500 an hour to act like he was incriminating himself.
I'm seeing
which
a lot.
Is interesting because, you know, HBO is owned by BlackRock. And the reason why I'm wanting to talk about BlackRock so much is because it owns most of the media. It owns NBC, HBO, ESPN, History, FX, Disney, you know, which owns Lifetime. You know, it has this big connection into the media of what's being released into the public. So that's why it's so important. The media of how these codes are being put out is connected to BlackRock.
Well, if you're going to bring that up, then I'm going to bring up anything out there with a name. There's going to be something behind it with no name that's running it, right?
Right.
What we got to remember is,
Well, this is all connected to the national treasury. If we
got to
think about
remember
this.
is that this is a fake world, so it doesn't matter what label they put on something. It's all just fake put out there. So there's a name attached to it. This is all some kind of deeper energy which is controlling it. It's not like Donald Trump. He's nothing. He's a character, and his character portrays somebody that's important, right? It's just something put out there as something else, like, oh, here's this guy, oh, here's this guy, oh, here's this guy. But these are just like puppet guys. They're not. There's a deeper energy here that's controlling all of this, right?
Well, and then, you have that Disney connection too, which, is really important because that really connects Johnny Depp to this as well,
Right. So let's play a little bit more of this, and then we're going to get back to the slides.
And this is wrong what the state of Arkansas is doing to cover their ass.
I want true justice, and
Tell these people are acting.
now we'll never know. I mean, I thought there was going to be a trial, and them crackerjack police officers.
Terrible acting. Notice how you get hicks, like hick, and which could be
trailer park trash.
Yeah, and she's like portraying that, and she's kind of coming off like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Attorneys that was on,
right? It's like, come on.
Or the investigators that was on this case in 1993, they messed up, and now the state of Arkansas
talks like that. They messed up.
They
messed up. They want to sweep it under the rug, and it's over.
Terrible acting. I wonder if back then we probably are like thinking it's all real, and then we see it later, and we're like, man.
Over for everybody else, but it continues to live on for me every day.
But if Eccles, Baldwin, and Miss Kelly didn't kill the three little boys,
that's interesting. Baldwin, because wasn't he trending for shooting somebody?
Yeah.
And wasn't
you
Johnny
also have
Depp
the Baldwin brothers too?
Wasn't Johnny Depp also in court too?
Beg your pardon?
Wasn't Depp also in court recently too? With who I didn't follow it, but like Amber Heard or whatever.
Well, Johnny Depp, yeah, he was in court.
So this all comes together because all of the names, and there's more with the names too when we get back to it. It's like, come on, right?
And he also got, his rights for doing Captain Jack Sparrow got terminated with Disney.
And wasn't okay. So new DNA testing. Look how it says May exonerate, and the killing was in May.
Yep.
West Memphis 3 and find real killer. So they got released in 2011, right?
It really is interesting because the DNA was so corroded that it was even hard to test it back then. Depending on how it was preserved, how could they even, 30 years ago, how could they be able to test it? This is just something that is trending to subliminally program the masses, I feel like.
Exactly. To be divided, probably, more than likely. And then it goes back to the duality thing with God, Jesus, or whatever.
You know how they had that 5 connection? In the case, there was this Exhibit 500 that was used in the case, and it was used to talk about all of Damien's mental health issues prior to the crime, and it was like, I think like over 600 pages long. And it's interesting because the 5 connection, and he's 50 this year, and the 5 connections that Miss Kelly made, and all the number 5s in this case.
Yeah, and I hate to bring it up, man, but Donald equals 50 like 5, and when we got like a Jesus, God, Satan thing going on here, and Jesus Christ equals 146, which is Trump's birthday. And there's that.
But according to that, he was homicidal and suicidal. So it really shows how the mental health facilities failed, as well as judicial, because he was in and out of crimes, you know, how they failed. If they would have taken action, this
Right.
may have never happened.
Cool. So I'm going to open this back up, and this is going pretty smooth here. So they may get exonerated, meaning they're what, after all this time, oh, you know, they didn't do it or whatever. And I don't know if you can, I don't know what can be done to, if say this is all real or whatever. And imagine that could happen, right? Where they just want to pin a case on you. Imagine how scary that is, because then it's like you against the world, you know what I mean? So, but I don't know if anything could be done to make up being falsely charged for something. And they're saying that maybe now they could find the real killer. It's like they're delaying it. Remember they did that with the Tupac thing forever too.
Well, I honestly, I don't think that there's any way that they could find
they're just delaying it. Remember the Tupac got killed in 96, 1 year after this, and what, 25 or whatever years later, that
actually 3 years, which is that 3 connection, because the crimes happened in 93.
Oh yeah, it was 93. I'm glad you brought that up. The reason why I'm saying 95, you'll see here in a minute.
Because of the trial that happened was originally in 95, yeah.
Oh, well, that's beautiful. So that connects even better to what I'm about to show you. So you see, it's safe to say this all starts with the language, right? Because we see it with the language, and then when you see the numbers, you know that the letters have numerical values, right? So
and
look,
it's also interesting because the satanic ritual equals 95 and Black Rock equals 59, which is opposite.
That's perfect. And there was a lot of stuff that happened around that time. So look, this guy's name is Michael Moore. It does make me think of Michael Myers.
Well, there's a lot of names that are connected to horror movies. We have Damien, we have Jason.
Yes. Right. So they have these
Michael.
names. Yes, and we're about to go over that. Okay. So Michael Myers, like Halloween, and that's interesting because this is connected to, look at right there, a young boy and the murder of more teenagers, right? You see that? And even everything in this little, and let me show you this again, Michael Moore was like some kind of director of some kind of,
and that was in
films too,
1978, and 87 equals blood. I mean,
right? And even Haddonfield, Illinois, and weren't these boys kind of found in kind of like some kind of wooded, fielded area? And it even says
in the woods,
15 years later, you know, killing equals 115. So it's all within this language, and this, not just with this, right? But again, you look, Christopher like Christ, right? And look, Stevie, branch like trees, like woods, right?
But also like branch like your veins, like blood.
Right? Yes. And look how it says drainage right there, like your blood, right?
Yeah.
And Damien obviously is associated with satanic terminology, and that's just obvious. I mean, even if you watch cartoons, you know, you'll see it in like South Park, I think. Okay. And I'm glad you brought up that 1995 point. And again, with the Trump thing, man, his dad's middle name is Christ, or they probably say it Christ. So I'm glad you can see a lot of this stuff in the language. They say they needed to find a culprit, and then they mentioned satanic cult. Like culprit, you have a Baldwin connection. And this updated article is from December. So again, this is semi-trending. Look at all of this with the language. Miss Kelly is kind of like mistrial. You brought up the Megyn Kelly, Machine Gun Kelly thing, and that's interesting too, because if you can find other videos out there with them and the possibility of drinking these fluids, right? So you see this stuff all in here, the threes, the M's, and don't forget M's the 13th letter of the alphabet. Then that makes me think of Friday the 13th, another horror film. You have the 3-6 Mafia connection, Memphis, but Tennessee with that satanic connection. Christopher, like Christ. Damien, like Satan. Did you know Satan and God equal 55? And
Yeah.
again, on 5-5, the naked hog-tied and don't they like sacrifice hogs or like pigs possibly, or is that a stretch?
Well, animal sacrifice is connected to this case because Damien was sacrificing dogs and
See,
all.
and you're seeing how this is all it's in the words that they use here, but are you noticing, because this is my whole point of this, is for people to see that it's in the language. So the words that are in the language here are related to what they're talking about, but they're not there. You got to pick them up as you read. Are you noticing that, or is it just me being wild?
I'm noticing
that,
there's
right?
a lot of 55 connection. You have the PDF files
But the language,
equals 55.
but what I mean is the language, like drainage and blood, right? If you're just reading that, you wouldn't catch it. You would have to be like some kind of decoder or
And
like.
it's interesting because, you know, like there's a connection to this case with blood big time because, you
Hold
know,
on real quick, not to interrupt you. I want to make this point because I want to see if you're getting what I'm saying here. So what I'm trying to say is this article is just, it's like computer generated. Do you understand?
yeah.
It's like AI was already around and then they told us it was a new thing. See? And it's like insert names here, insert certain things here. So I want to see if you're picking this up. I'm saying it and I think you are, but it's like you're bouncing to the next point. The whole point of me doing this is I want people to know that this is just a story that's pumped out by a computer, which is, that like if you go to a casino, there's the thing where you pull the lever and then it lands on the cherries, the lemons, and all that. It's like that, right? So we're seeing these names, Michael Moore. Obviously, Michael Moore is a character connected to Hollywood, makes you think of Michael Myers. Drainage is like the drainage of the bodily fluids, which is going to be connected. There's nobody that's typing those words in there. It's just their words connected to the whole, what they're talking about with the satanic thing. That's what I want to see if you're connecting it. I
Well,
want to see if you're picking that up before you
it's
bounce on to your
interesting that
next point.
you say that
No, before you, I want to see if you get it, because I want to see if I'm just wild here. Because I need to do what I need to do to make sure. Does that make sense to you that these words are there because they relate to the whole article and it's not somebody that's typing in those words? The reason why those words pop in there, computer generated, is because they're connected to this whole satanic theme.
and the branches of demonology that is connected to the Satanism in this case.
Yeah. Yes. So do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
So that's why when we speak and I'm like, I don't get too emotionally involved in it because it's a story. You understand? But this stuff does happen in real life. And you know why I think it mostly happens? Because people are influenced by the media and music. My first favorite hip hop band was 3-6 Mafia. At a young age, I shouldn't have been allowed to walk into a store and buy it, but that's what they want because they want young people influenced by it. So what happened by that? I end up joining like a witch, I don't know what they want to call it. I end up getting involved in like little witchcraft and things like that, right? Because
Right.
I'm influenced at a young age by this stuff. This is what they want. So I think the majority of that influence causes a lot of this stuff to happen. You saw the guy with the freaking Metallica shirt on.
Yeah,
Another
and
M.
that's interesting that you mentioned Metallica because that was used in the HBO documentary and it
Yes.
was aired on MTV. MTV
Yes.
equals 55.
And MTV is another M. And M is the 13th letter of the alphabet, which is an unlucky number here in the United States, right? 13. Politics equals 113. Like 13, right? So that's the point I really want to make there is this is just a story. So even with the last live we did, somebody dropped a big old story comment how like, oh, you guys don't know about the case.
Yeah, you'll get a
blah,
lot
blah,
of
blah.
backlash because the
That's
people that
AI.
are invested in this case are like they're like diehard fans. It's like
So
fanatical.
this is why I tell you we decode it, but we don't get all super and I guess I could speak for myself. This is why I decode it and I move on, because the energy they're going to get from me out of this is here. I'm going to do whatever to show you it's fake. I'm not going to look at it like it's real.
You remember at the beginning when there was that 18 connection?
Yeah. I think Mark of Beast or Mark of the Beast equals 81 also.
Well, it's interesting because Hunter S. Thompson, who is connected to Johnny Depp by the Rum Diaries, by Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, they were also friends. But the victim, Stevie Branch, also equals 180, which equals that 18 connection, right? And Hunter S. Thompson was implicated in child murder and child snuff films, right?
And
you also have mescaline, which is a drug that can be produced in people that have schizophrenia, and that equals 81, right?
And this is all
schizophrenia is also connected to Jason Baldwin by the number 200 in this case. Schizophrenia is also connected to murder, Robin Hills, and satanic by the number 79.
Murder equals 79. And morgue equals 79 as well.
Right. And it's also interested because of the Massimo connection of blood. Their whole purpose is to oxidize the blood and create oxidization products to help monitor oxidation levels in the plasma as well as blood. And, people with schizophrenia, they create mescaline and ephenerine, and this creates what is called acetylcholine or adrenolution, which is essentially adrenochrome.
Right.
And, this is connected to big because mescaline equals 54, like PDF file, and so does Damien Eccles. And another weird thing is epherin. I can't say this right now. I just said it. Adrenochrome and vampires with the Y and spell this EPHINE.
You just said it a second ago. Ooh, look at this.
I know, I can't pronounce it. It equals 119 as well. And Arkansas witchcraft and acetylcholine equals 60, which is that 6 connection to.
Oh, and I have more on that.
About.
Ooh, wait until you see I have more on that. And today is April Fool's, yeah. And
yeah.
look at this. I look up this vampire, and that is whatever, maybe the original spelling or whatever. And look at it, originally published. Today's the anniversary. Awesome. Look,
Yeah.
I want to finish because I have a few more slides here and they relate to what you're saying. Okay, so you should be seeing this again right here. And that's amazing with the duality with Satan and God and 5 being kind of in the middle. Look at this.
And then, Joe Canini also is the owner of Massimiso, and Cult and Joe Canini equals 52, which is a Trump connection as well.
Government equals 52.
And also BlackRock owns Pfizer, who is in charge of all of our vaccinations, and Pfizer plus Robinhood plus mutilation, all of that equals 44. Pfizer and rituals equals 28 as well. So
death equals 28. Look at this, Janae. Do you see this? So this is the Memphis 3-6 Mafia hip hop group, but not West Memphis, Arkansas, Memphis, Tennessee. Notice this album, which was 59, the most satanic by far. Look at this. May. And our murders, West Memphis, the satanic cult, they're saying the West Memphis 3, Arkansas. When was that? May 5th, right? And you said that the trial or whatever was in 95, right? Notice, look, 1995. And the
satanic ritual equals 1995. Yeah.
95?
BlackRock equals 59. Reverse of that.
And Michael Jordan played for the Chicago Bulls. They wore red. They got the horns. Michael Jordan equals 59. Michael equals 33. Bulls equals 33. LeBron and LeBron James. This is how you know all of this stuff is connected by the language, right? And LeBron has the 33 connected to him and the 33 connected to Ohio. You can find stories about this satanic stuff in Ohio as well. There's a movie about like children coming up missing, or there was a story about a bunch of children coming up missing in Ohio. All of this stuff is
and
man.
If you take in the TikTok, the bite dance that BlackRock owns and all of the children that are going missing off of that app all the time because of the trafficking that's going on as well, that's hits heavy too.
Awesome. This is amazing, man. I love this. So you were bringing up Arkansas, right? Check this out, okay? Well, there's another slide here first. So this is that Satan and God connection again. Look, West Memphis 3, 206 and 226 like 26. And God equals 26. West Memphis 380 like Satan. And you see Satan and God both have 10. Look at this today. If this doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will. Because you mentioned Arkansas equals 60. Notice how Arkansas was founded in the 6th month. Look, 1836. 3-6 like 3-6 Mafia.
And river equals 36 as well. And that's kind of like connected to the crime.
Yeah, it is. And look, a 6-week span from these killings to the anniversary of the founding of Arkansas. Exactly 0 days.
And Arkansas equals 60. So that's kind of creepy there.
And founded in 1836. But you see, look at how
Damien equals 63 in reverse redaction.
Perfect.
Damien Eccles. Yeah.
I'm trying to make it where that duck. But look at the anniversary. So the birthday for Arkansas after these murders. Look at that. The birthday leaves 166 days. And you get 133 date numerology. So you get the 33 and the 66 right there. And Arkansas founded the 15th day of the 6th month, 156. The 156th prime number is 911, like emergency.
11, yeah.
Gosh.
Which is crazy because the 119 connection that I was talking about with the
Yes.
adrenochrome and vampires. Yeah.
So I'm not saying you didn't already know this, but I hope this kind of makes it a little more clear how all of these stories, this all starts with the language. And the language, it's categorized in like brackets with like names. Okay. So, and the language, right? So if you have Arkansas A, Arizona A, Alabama A, it's all going to be connected. Do you understand? It starts with the language. Even the 15th day on the founding, killing equals 115.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Even 1993 with this killing, that's a big year.
You
for
want to
me
know?
growing up.
You have
Because-
that 166 connection. BlackRock and Infinium Neil
I mean, I'm telling
are
you,
one number off. They both equals 167.
Donald Trump's birthday, his last birthday was the 166th day of the year. And this is trending in December. Again, not so trendy, but trendy. This 1993 year was huge with me growing up. That was kind of like in the prime of anybody born in 81, or you were, I think, born sometime around me. But
Yeah.
that year was huge for me at that age. This is around the time where the Bulls defeated the Phoenix Suns for the NBA title. Michael Jordan, look, Michael Moore. And Michael Jordan equals 113. And M's the 13th letter, all the M's in this story. But Michael Jordan, again, the Bulls, the horns. So it's a satanic theme around the time period. So all of the stories are it's like Trump's running things right now. So the feminine boss bitch stuff is gonna slowly go away. So you does that make sense?
Yeah.
When Kamala's hitting heavy and everyone's Kamala, it's gonna drain downhill. You're gonna get Meg the Stallion, all these females talking about eat my booty and all this dumb shit, right? Trump's in office, that stuff's not gonna be popular. You see what I mean? It goes downhill. That's why you look at other trending stories. So the feminine boss chick stuff's gonna go away when Trump's in office, because that's the energy that's out there. See? And it probably shouldn't go away because it hasn't really balanced out yet. You know what I mean? Because I know there was a lot, and I guess that's not relevant to the case really, but it probably should be around a little longer because it hasn't really balanced out yet, because I know men have kind of like dominated, but maybe that's just more traditional, maybe. Because don't they say like God, man, woman, child in that order or something like that? Anyways, that's kind of off topic.
What is the 6/15/93 114?
Well, I see the 114 dead equals 14 in 2 ciphers.
Well, Larry Fink, the owner of BlackRock, equals 114.
That's date numerology. That's the anniversary of the founding of Arkansas. That's at Arkansas's birthday, which was right after this killing the same year.
That's crazy.
Dead equals 4. See, this is what I'm telling you, Janae, is what we're doing here is legitimate. So all of this stuff hits. Even killing equals 43. Government, president, and White House equal 133. Murder and morgue equal 34. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I just think that it was weird that, we have that BlackRock in Arkansas into West Memphis. There was that 121 connection. It was in the video.
Yeah.
And it's 121 minutes, blood
So
sacrifice.
So even without you saying it, I can see that you've probably reached another level here. So that's good. And even the 24 date numerology, this article is from December 2024. They may get exonerated. Look at Arkansas with the 60 and then the 6-week 0-day span. Donald Trump equals 60. Okay.
What do you think? Do you think that Donald Trump is going to do some kind of presidential pardon since he seems to be all over this case?
Is he all over this case? Or just his numbers? Well, he is connected to pardons and stuff already.
Yeah,
So
I mean, he did reverse all of Joe Biden's pardons, and Joe Canini is connected to this
well,
case.
and we have 3-6 Mafia. Trump's always connected with rappers.
Yeah, 50 Cent.
I'm gonna a lot of rappers. Lil Wayne, Kanye
Yeah.
West. Look, I'm gonna go and see to the next slide. Whew. We made it. Jeez. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go play the last couple minutes of that video and then try to wrap it up here within 10 minutes.
Okay.
So I'll just briefly go back. It's just amazing, you know, it's amazing. And just kind of glance at it. Wow.
Sorry if I sidestepped you so much.
Nah, I think it was okay. Because to be honest with you, when I like watching long lives, because I put lives in and I play them and I do what I do and it's in the background. I hate when people make short videos and then you're on YouTube and you got to hit skip ad. This shit's annoying.
Oh, one more thing that I just connected. You know how we had that 11 connection with HBO and Cult? That also connects to the SODIMIZ
Right.
SA there, Satanic Panic and Animal Sacrifice, because those three equal 110, which is essentially 11. So think about those connections of
DC equals 11, Jesus equals 11.
yeah, because you know, a lot of corporations are cult-like, you know, in their
So is the government. I think president equals
exactly.
110. I think president equals 110, like 11. Even
So
remember Michael Moore, Michael Myers. Look, Chris Byers. Byers rhymes with Myers. Branch, like a tree branch. This was kind of appeared to be in like a wooded type of area, kind of like a foresty area.
and the other thing that I've just thought of is, you know, the Paradise Lost was a 3-part series which connects to the 3. And that was the first documentary, if you want to call it a documentary, because we rely on these documentary for facts, but again, they're being funded by BlackRock, and this media is being fed a script of lies, personal opinion, which is I feel fact. But Paradise Lost and Satanic Ritual equals 49, right? So this is essentially like a ritual of humiliation to these children.
Washington equals 39. Also connected to like politics.
49, not 39, sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you said 49. Damn it, I was just gonna say something else that related to what you said.
But also the Black Witchcraft equals 94 backwards, which is a year prior to.
Oh, and dead equals 94. So look, BlackRock, that's interesting too, because I think they own private prisons. So they make money off of these people going to prison, right? And they own they're connected with the music industry as well, which connects to this case with the 3-6 Mafia stuff.
Also, if you're
wearing the Metallica rock shirts and all of that.
Also, you know, I don't know if you remember in the last live that we did together about my views and opinions about people in prison being tested on. This goes back to the blood that I was talking about, how, you know, people with mental health disabilities or any disability, you know, in the world, in the regular world outside of prison, there is 15% of people that have a disability. And people that are incarcerated in the prison system, it's 40%. So I feel that there is funding that is going on for testing to be done on prison inmates as well
Oh
as jail
yeah,
inmates.
like kind of like cattle or like herd.
Because we have Pfizer connected to this, which does the vaccination. You know, we have the blood connection, schizophrenia, how the blood produces these certain chemicals with people with schizophrenia. And, you know, in all reality, people that are in the prison system, there's over 300,000 people that have been wrongfully convicted.
Yeah. And, you know, that's a shame because that would be really hard to it's once they target you, it's like you're almost screwed. Notice they even with their shirts how they got red and you see the music connection. Look at the
What is
Blazers.
Aries connected to this case at all? The god of war, Aries?
I don't
Or
know.
Taurus?
You would probably know more. Taurus would be cool because it's the bull. Look, the bull.
Yeah, and that would be May, but
The Bulls beat the Blazers to win their first championship. Look, that guy's got the Blazers. Bulls, and the little B looks like a 6, but that's probably a little too much. Even Metallica's got the M. Those people.
But I'm wondering if there's like some connection to Metallica to
I'm sure.
these disgusting acts as well.
All of their albums and all the whole music is nothing but Satanism. Metallica was the first hard rock group. I remember when I was in high school where it's like it was a certain select crowd, like you had to be really cool to listen to them. I mean, not saying you had to be, but they're not gonna enter Sandman. Think about a lot of their songs too. Ride the Lightning.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I don't like their guitar riffs personally. I think that they're commercialized, and I think that they're
now they are
sellout pussies.
Well, of course they all are now, but they had an album, Kill 'Em All. You know what I'm saying? Like a Black album, like Black Rock. Anyways, let me get back because I'm going to play 2 or 3 minutes of this video, maybe the last part, and then we're ending this, okay? And
All
again,
right.
be glitchy or whatever.
Individuals was found at the crime scene. DNA that can now be tested with new state-of-the-art technology.
If we get enough genetic markers from the new DNA testing, and we can compare it to my suspect who's a long-haul truck driver.
Stidham says his suspect is currently in prison for other slayings. The FBI says it has a pool of hundreds of suspects, all long-haul truckers, for nearly 1,000 suspected serial killings along America's highways. Stidham didn't divulge his suspect's name. The 2 theories we've mentioned and a myriad others have been offered over the years, but now, finally, we may soon have answers. In April this year, the Arkansas Supreme Court approved new DNA testing in the case, ending a 2-year legal battle fought by Eccles' lawyers to get the green light to retest DNA evidence previously thought to have been lost by the West Memphis Police Department. The DNA will be tested using the MVAC system, an advanced instrument that can actually extract
another M
particles from inside fabric. Eccles' lawyers will use it to extract DNA from the shoelaces that bound the 3 murdered boys.
They're going to go in there and literally unknot those ligatures where they know that those skin cells are tucked in that fabric, and then they're going to extract them. I think there's no question that we're going to find out who tied those knots.
Benka says results for the new DNA testing will come back early next year. If it can determine who tied the knots, the West Memphis 3 may have a chance at the exoneration they have long fought for.
That's stupid. If it were real, you wouldn't give them like some stage name and all these logos and everything. Give me a break.
Serial killer may soon face justice.
I'm a full-time judge and I can't get involved in the actual defense, but I'll resign my judgeship immediately if we were to get a new trial.
All right, so I'm just going to go over to the article here. So the May exonerated, and this murder
I caught
was
another thing during that article. So DNA occult equals 20, schizophrenia equals 200. All the number 2.
Death equals 20.
So, and that the DNA is that blood connection as well.
So they may get exonerated, and again, that means they may be like cleared of all wrongdoings, but they already served time. So it's like, give me a break, right? So I don't think there's anything. Is there anything new updated on this? This is where we're at, right? As they're looking for the real killers, supposedly.
Yeah.
Another M right there, you see?
Yeah, Damien Eccles is trying to get the DNA tested, but like this DNA, all evidence has been held for 30 years. We don't know
They have books
how
and everything.
compromised the DNA is. And
Look
the
how
thing is DNA was tested prior, so it's just all process subliminal.
Look, there's a guy here, a judge, I think, named Stidham, ham, and remember they said hog-tied, ham like pig.
Yeah.
Exactly. See, it's all in the language here. These are all characters. And look at down here.
Got misconduct like Miss Kelly.
Yeah. And they even have a book. So it's like, and there was something else right here. Look, harvest is associated with like harvesting energy, like satanic coal. I mean, come on, ha, man. All in the language. What a joke, right?
And also, Damien has a connection of harvesting energy as well. He's a creature.
Yeah, and I saw there was a movie called Damien or whatever. So wow. So I guess only time will tell. Let me
And then you
ask
got the vac system like vampire.
Yeah. Or yeah. Even like vac, maybe like with a needle, which blood as well. I don't know. Let me ask Google one more time. What is the update on the West Memphis 3 case? Oops. Okay, so that's where we're left at now. Okay? So that's where we're left at right there. So we're all caught up here in this story. So I'm going to say that what I do want to do is I like that thumbnail I made. I'm proud of myself with these thumbnails. I think that
Yeah, you did a really good job. I'm proud of you too.
Thanks. Look at that, man. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's like 5 different things that I had to combine there to make that. So I thank you, added a lot of great information. I think we work good as a team. Some of that info that you brought up, I mean, that's not how I go about it. So when we come together, that works out perfect. So I appreciate, thanks for bringing this to my attention. I'm glad we can do this. Maybe we can do something like this every few weeks or whatever, and maybe the live.
I really enjoy doing these criminal cases because that's kind of like what's trending a lot right now on TikTok. And I don't really follow TikTok, but I do follow things on YouTube, and it kind of tends to spill over into the YouTube. And I think it's really important to wake people up on actually what's going on within the judicial system, of how this is actually just the same as what is going on in the media
Right.
with the language.
Oh, cool. So I appreciate you. And again, in the title, it says NST because it wouldn't fit, but not so trending. So this could be maybe like a theme that we do or something. Not so trending. New DNA testing and this is from December, so it's semi-trending, and it's still kind of trending because who are the real
And the thing is there are people that are complete fans to, Damien,
like, yeah,
Jason, and Jesse. So
same thing with the Wade Wilson thing. Well, okay, so I did. Okay, it is possible that we look into the Luigi thing in the future then, because that's kind of similar to these last 2 that we've done. and I have covered that in the past, but we could possibly go deeper on that. So that may be something in the future, because that's like a little fan club thing that's popping off as well.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
The Luigi thing is a possibility.
Oh,
for
I would love to do that one. I think I'm obsessed with that case.
What helps with that is I already have a breakdown when that first happened, so I can use some of that info towards anything.
Where there's a Luigi, there's a Mario, right?
Mario M, right? So, okay, so new DNA testing in West Memphis 3 case may exonerate the convicted and we'll find the real killer. We'll see what happens. Sympathy with any victims of any crimes that are related to what we talked about today. But
yeah,
we have to be here. We have to look at these stories, and those connections are undeniable. What's going on with the language? What's going on with these patterns? What's going on with this number system? We're all born into this world, and it's a fake world, if you ask me. Thanks for bringing this story to my attention. I'm glad for the information you provided. I'm going to end it with, I will play some of this music that I put together and maybe a little outro. Anybody out there, appreciate you. Even the AI comments, bring them on. Just know we know that you're AI, so we look kind of weird having discussions with AI, but bring it on. You know, shout out to Richard West. I know he's a real person, and hopefully he views this as well. Thank you again, Janae.
Thank you, Matt.
We'll talk again here in a bit, but we'll go ahead and end this here, and I'll just play some music and an outro as we get out of here. So shout out, and again, thank you. If you want to say bye, Janae.
Have a beautiful day, everyone.
All right. Until next time, peace.
Bye.
Deceived by the lies, educated in codes, exposed to the light, darkness unfolds. Politics, entertainment, religion, and sports, killing death patterns in the courts. Fake characters, spotted fictional distractions, tooth fairy tales and Hollywood's attractions. Puppets and leaders controlling our minds, from local to worldwide. It's time to unwind. Decode the truth, break it down. 2020. See through the lies in this twisted plenty. Puppets of leaders controlling our minds, from local to worldwide. It's time to unwind. Decode the truth, break it down. 2020. See through the lies in this twisted plenty. Secret clubs hiding what's real. Who knows the deal? Who holds the seal? One thing for sure, it's all a facade. Lies upon lies, a charade so flawed. Mind control from dusk till dawn, manipulating us all like pawns. Puppets and leaders controlling our minds, from local to worldwide. It's time to unwind. Decode the truth, break it down. 2020. See through the lies in this twisted plenty. Puppets of leaders controlling our minds, from local to worldwide.